I'm Dr. David Miller. I'm a GP that works in NHS Lothian, and today we're going to be talking about norovirus. Norovirus is a common virus that affects the stomach and intestines, so let's talk about exactly what norovirus is, how it spreads, what we can do to manage the symptoms, and when you need to seek further medical advice. It can cause vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramps, and sometimes mild headache, fever and body aches. It's something that's very easily spread, so it can cause outbreaks of vomiting and diarrhea in settings such as schools, care homes, hospitals and cruise ships. It's something that can usually be managed well at home, and although it's an unpleasant thing to have, it usually will pass within a couple of days. People can get norovirus more than once. The virus is always changing, so you can get norovirus multiple times because the body can't form any long-term immunity towards it. As I say, it is a very highly infectious virus, so to prevent the spread, it's important if you have symptoms to stay at home and not go back to school or work for at least 48 hours after the symptoms have settled. Wash your hands regularly, especially after going to the toilet or preparing food. Ideally, this is with liquid soap and warm water. Cleaning contaminated surfaces with a bleach-based product is important. It's also important to wash towels, bedding, contaminated clothing separately from other items too. Symptoms can usually be managed at home, and symptoms will usually settle within 2 to 3 days. So ways of managing the symptoms are staying well hydrated, drinking plenty of fluids is very important, rest to allow the body to recover, paracetamol to treat symptoms such as fever or muscle aches or abdominal pains, stay off work or school for at least 48 hours. Until the symptoms have settled. So you should seek medical advice if you are unable to keep any fluids down at all, if you're showing signs of dehydration, if you have severe abdominal pain, or if your symptoms are going on longer than 2 to 3 days. Babies and young children, especially babies less than 6 months old, or very elderly, frail patients are more at risk of complications from norovirus. So when looking after children or elderly vulnerable people, it's important to have a lower threshold to get in touch for medical advice. For further information, visit nhsinform.scot.
Now to Capitol Hill in Washington, where the Senate rejected two health care bills as millions of Americans are facing more expensive health care. The bill's failure means that insurance premiums will double or worse for millions of Americans who rely on the Affordable Care Act for their health care, also known as Obamacare.
Although the House is expected to bring up its own bill next week, so it's trying to head this off at the pass. Alice Barr with the latest from Washington.
Good morning. The bill Democrats backed would have extended Obamacare subsidies for 3 years, while the Republican option let them expire, instead adding up to $1,500 to Americans' health saving accounts. Neither got enough bipartisan support to pass. With a 1-2 punch of failed votes from each party,
the motion is not agreed to.
the Senate knocking out hopes of offering a health care fix before Obamacare subsidies expire at the end of the month, sending insurance premiums soaring for some 22 million Americans. Overnight, President Trump, who refused to negotiate when Democrats pushed to extend the subsidies during the government shutdown, now calling for a bipartisan solution.
I really believe we can work on health care together and come up with something that's going to be much better, much less expensive for the people.
The Senate's top Democrat arguing Republicans who have long opposed Obamacare have failed to find a viable alternative.
They put a little bubble gum and scotch tape together and put together a ridiculous, phony plan.
Republicans say the Obamacare system itself has forced healthcare costs up. Instead, they want to put money directly in Americans' health savings accounts.
They can use it, pay for premiums, whatever, and then make sure we cover pre-existing condition.
For now, with both plans failing on the Senate floor, Obamacare recipients like cancer survivor Rebecca Davis are about to take a hit. Her premium set to double in the new year.
There's a lot of stress that comes with receiving that bill in the mail.
Speaker Mike Johnson promising a vote in the House next week.
That will bring down the cost of health care for all Americans, not just 7% of them.
It's not clear what that plan would be, with time running out for Americans in need. Remember, extending Obamacare subsidies was the central sticking point for Democrats that kept the government in that record-setting shutdown. Democrats now want to hold the issue over Republicans in next year's midterms, and some swing district House Republicans want to force a vote on extending the money, worried spiking costs could cost them their seats. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, Alice, and if you're worried about paying for health insurance or you have questions, healthcare.gov is a great place to check if you qualify for financial help. It can also connect you with a counselor or help you compare costs.